Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Robbins, and welcome to Life, Death, and the Space Between. Today, I have another very special ghost story. And if you're new to the show, ghost stories are my listeners' way of sharing their miraculous stories of connection, love, and the magic and mysticalness, if that's even a word, of the universe. If you have a story to share, please reach out. You can share it on my website at dramyrobbins.com. And here's today's ghost story. Thank you for the opportunity to tell our story. While our ghost story is one of deep, profound, life-changing sadness, it is also one about the beauty of humanity and the most beautiful legacy my son, Kyan, has gifted us. My name is Ian, and we were a typical Australian-New Zealand family of four. Our 9-year-old daughter, our 12-year-old son, Kyan, my wife, and I living in rural Queensland, Australia. My son's name is Kyan, meaning ancient one. He was by nature quiet and shy around those that did not take time to get to know him, and he showed his cheeky, witty side for those that did know him. He was diagnosed with Asperger's and ADHD as a young child. He was a creature of habit, had a voracious appetite for books with the reading age of 17. His thirst for knowledge saw him excel academically. While Kyan often struggled to connect socially with humans, he fully embraced his quirks, often referring to them as superpowers, which allowed him the amazing ability to really put 100% into anything that truly caught his interests. These interests included Greek history, Lego, chess, poetry, nature. He named all his plants Bob, and many various animals, which he had an amazing ability to deeply connect with. Kyan named many of our goats and chickens after Greek gods. In 2019, we made the trip of a lifetime to Greece, where I'm convinced Kyan clearly had lived many previous lifetimes. Needless to say, we did not require a tour guide, but instead relied on Kyan's vast knowledge of Greek mythology and history. Kyan's more recent passion was piano, specifically classical pieces. He spent 4 hours per day studying YouTube tutorials, learning to play piano, read and write music, and committing to memory 35 pieces, mainly classical songs during the last 7 months of his life. In 2021, Kyan performed on stage at 2 open music nights, which was an amazing accomplishment considering the level of overwhelm and anxiety that he often experienced. Sitting in front of the piano was truly his happy place. Fast forward to the day that changed our lives forever. Monday, January 31st, 2022, was like any other Monday, except the start of school had been delayed due to COVID. When returning home that morning, Kyan was opening the gate for me to drive through and somehow found himself caught between the trailer I was towing at the end of the gate. I stopped the car instantly and caught him as he collapsed and died in my arms. Despite trying to revive him for the next 30 minutes, and the paramedics also doing their best to resuscitate him for another hour after, his injuries were simply too great and were not survivable. The shock hit us instantly and has stayed with us since, residing to the fact that we will never truly know how it occurred, despite numerous medium readings suggesting various scenarios. Kyan's first sign arrived the day after his passing. The most amazing cloud formation appeared over our property, one I have never seen before. We could almost count the 88 keys in the sky. A poem about his life was beautifully written by a couple of his old teachers, was inlaid over the photo of this beautiful piano-looking cloud formation, included as part of his funeral card. On the day after Kyan's passing, we found an unfinished piece of music that he had been composing. We were aware of the inaccurate negative media reports that had been released about his death, And we quickly realized this piece of music was a sign and an opportunity to change the narrative so the media would focus on his amazing life rather than his death. So my wife went on a mission, putting it out into social media, asking people to play it for his funeral, as we had not actually heard him play it. Hundreds of renditions were received, including clips of children playing it on their instruments at home. World-class violinists, guitarists, pianists, and DJs from around the globe. Generous versions received from celebrity musicians such as Delta Goodrum, and from 8 major Australian New Zealand orchestras. The Sunshine Coast Symphony Orchestra has also since officially recognized Kyan as a composer. Many of these musical gifts can be viewed on Kyan's YouTube memorial page, Play for Kyan. These beautiful musical gifts were very humbling, as were the thousands of compassionate, heartfelt messages we received from around the globe the following months. After consulting a musician friend, we decided to name Kyan's composition as Corvus Raven Heart, Etude No. 1 in C minor. Ironically, Kyan had indicated shortly prior to his passing, during a random conversation one night over dinner, he would choose to be reincarnated as a raven, as he believed they were the smartest birds, and the name so seemed perfectly appropriate. We were also gifted a memorial gate by an amazing craftsman who had experienced the sudden and traumatic passing of his 12-year-old daughter a few years earlier. Appropriately, we had decided on a beautifully shaped raven surrounded by music notes and trees with the words Raven Heart to greet all those who visited our home. We have received so many signs from Kyan over the past year since his passing, including numerous ravens who have frequently hang around the gate and the chicken shed, a new occurrence since his passing. Often electronics such as lights flicker on and off without reason, smoke detectors activating and then deactivating without cause, and even the temperature dial changing temperature by itself. The TV once abruptly turned on October 31st at the top level, which woke everyone up. Our cat Velcro is often observed for hours staring at Kyan's piano as if he is sitting there playing it. Again, these are new occurrences since his passing. My wife recently returned to work some months after he died and was feeling anxious about a work trip and asked him for a sign to help give him strength. Upon arriving at the hotel room, she was greeted by a beautiful raven painting outside her room door. A raven almost identical to the one on our gate. My wife checked every hallway in that hotel and confirmed it was the only painting of a raven, in fact, any animal of its kind. The most significant sign that I have personally received from Kyan was during a yoga meditation workshop where a song I had never heard before was played clearly, repeatedly, stating his name, Kyan, in the chorus. While our lives are filled with sadness, we will be eternally grateful to our community and all those who have leaned into our grief and honored his life in the most beautiful and profound way. While we believe Kyan's composition is his gift to the world and now realize his music is so powerful, we think he would have wanted everyone to understand how powerful classical music is, because he said, "There are no words to tell you how I feel. You just have to feel it." Ian, thank you so much for sharing this incredible, incredible moving ghost story. And I just want to express how sorry I am for this tragic, tragic death of your son. And I know that there will be many people out there who are touched by this, who will go and listen to his YouTube channel and see the magic that he created in his very short life. So thank you for sharing this, and sending you and anybody who's experienced loss much love. If you have a ghost story to share, again, please feel free to share it on my website at dramyrobbins.com. Like what you heard today and want to hear more? Wondering what comes next and what it all means? Head over to Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you get your podcasts and hit subscribe. Also, if you could take a minute to rate and review my podcast, I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned as we continue to explore life, death, and the space between.